Rumi gets into this commentary that explains one level of commentary on the cage of reputation. The cage of reputation. He says, the body is cage-like. The body, amidst the praises of those who come in and go out, become a thorn to the soul. This one says to him, I will be your friend. And that one says, no, I am your partner. This one says to him, there is none in existence like you for beauty and eminence and kindness and liberality. That one says to him, both the worlds are yours, and everyone is nothing compared to you. When he sees the people intoxicated with him, because of arrogance, he loses adab. He does not know that Shaitan has cast thousands like him into the river of destruction. The world's flattery and hypocrisy is a sweet morsel. Eat less of it, for it is a morsel full of fire. The fire is hidden and its taste is manifest. Its smoke becomes visible in the end. Do not say, how should I swallow that praise? He who's praising you is speaking from desire for reward. If your praiser should mock you in public, your heart would burn for days on account of these scorches. Although you know that he only said it in disappointment because the hopes he had of you brought him no gain. Yet the effect thereof is remaining with you. The same experience happens to you in the case of praise. The effect of that too lasts for many days and becomes a source of arrogance and deception of the soul. But it does not show itself because praise is sweet. In the case of blame, the evil shows itself because blame is bitter. If you eat halwa, any sweet things, the taste is momentary. The effect is enduring forever. Since it does not endure perceptibly, it endures imperceptibly. Recognize every opposite by means of its opposite. When the effect of sugar endures, after a while it produces boils that call for the lancet. Right? Eat too much sugar has negative consequences. Pharaoh was made by abundance of praise. Be lowly of spirit through meekness. Do not domineer. So far as you can, become a slave, not a monarch. Suffer blows. Become like the ball. Do not be the bat. Otherwise, when this elegance and beauty remains with you no more, you will be loathed by those companions. The set of people who used to flatter you deceitfully, when they behold you, will call you a devil. So he goes on, but this gives a sense of what he's getting at. This cage of reputation. And particularly, he's talking about the fleeting reputation of the world because he's mentioning that most people praise you with self-interest. Right? When things are going well with you or when things are going good, they praise you because they want to be near you. We talk about fair weather friends. Right? Listening with this interview with Mike Tyson. You know, he was the champion, the king of the world. And he had all this money and wealth and he came from nothing. So he was just spending it on everyone around him. He was buying tigers and all kind of things, right? Famously. But then all these people came to him, including some of his managers, and his trainer, Castamado, who was like a father to him, passed away. And then he was vulnerable. Because he was this young man in his early 20s still. Came from nothing. And all these people started to steal from him. Say, we'll manage your money. We'll be your friends. Here, just give us this. And he said, I lost all my money and that was the best thing that happened to me. Because I saw who was my real friend. When things were going good, everyone loved me. But when I lost it all, almost everyone left. And I saw who was real. So this is what Rumi is saying. He's saying most of the praise of the world is just self-interested. Right? He said the people that praise you, that were they not to be able to receive something from you, then they would hate you, right? Then they would blame you and mock you in public, right? And so you love that they praise you and it becomes like sweet. It's like candy. Ooh, they're praising me. He said, but were they to blame you, it would be bitter. But he said, it's interesting because if you're blamed, you're going to remember that, right? So like 1,000 positive likes or comments on YouTube, yeah, we feel good. One negative comment, you remember that for weeks, huh? Because we select towards blame, right? But he's saying, though the bitterness will remain with you, he said that the praise, it's sweeter, so you like it, but it also has an effect, even though it's more subtle, right? And he uses sugar, which is interesting because now we know, like, you eat too much sugar, it's like diabetes comes eventually, right? Sweet, sweet, sweet. At first, it's just a little bit, but then you're actually poisoning yourself. You're poisoning your body. So he's saying a lot of praise, it's just, you won't notice it, but eventually it will actually cause your ego to grow. And you start to believe your own hype. You start to drink your own Kool-Aid, right? And so, again, this discourse is for serious seekers on the path. And it's saying if we're serious about the path, we will beware of the cage of reputation. And this is why the Sufis, they say you're not a Sufi until it is equal to you whether people praise you or blame you. This is a high maqam. This is a high station, because we like to be praised and we dislike, right? And there's a story of Imam Ghazali that he was a great scholar, but then he went into seclusion because he realized that there was a cage of reputation in being a scholar. So he left that for 10 years. And he would don the robes of a poor man and he would sweep the mosque in Damascus, right? He was from Baghdad. So in those days, even if you were famous, he was famous in his lifetime, but there was no pictures or videos or YouTube. So you could be famous in one place and then go to another place and don the robes of a beggar and no one would know who you were. So he could be inconspicuous. So once he was in the mosque and he was doing his dhikr silently, and there was a sheikh teaching his circle of disciples and he overheard them say, Qala Imam Ghazali. Imam Ghazali said, right, quoting him as a great authority, even though he was over there in secret. And he said when he heard this, something in him liked it. He said, But because he had been doing this work, he said, ooh, I still have work to do. Until it is the same to me, whether they praise me or blame me, I'm not completely sincere with Allah. I'm not completely sincere with Allah. Of course, this is a high station, but this is what we strive for. And one of the things that we recommend, because on the path, when people praise you, it can be like really awkward and you feel, always see it as a dua. When people praise you, just say, Ameen. Ameen. May I really be like that. And this is why the Sufis, they will say, when people praise them, they say, you praise me for what you see, but I look in myself and I see my shortcomings. It's not about having low self-esteem or negative self-worth. It's about knowing that we have the precious jewel, the jewel of creation inside of us. That the hidden treasure that loved to be known has hid this treasure in the treasure chest of our chest. But we just want to protect ourselves from our ego overhearing that. Our ego trying to usurp the throne. So this is what Rumi is getting at. This cage of reputation. No. So don't take it too seriously when people praise you, and don't take it too seriously when they blame you. This is the goal.